Hey y'all, I'm Kasey.
And I'm MG, and this is Soul Tied.
We are two platonic soulmates sharing our thoughts and feelings on friendship, social issues, and healing in today's America.
With a focus on queer existence in the evangelical South and answering the philosophical questions that come with it.
Hey y'all, welcome to the pod.
What's up, everybody?
MG and I are on Zoom, and MG doesn't have their camera on, but I have mine on, and I did make myself bigger because I do like looking at myself too much. My Nana had to take the mirror away from me at the dinner table.
Oh my god.
I found a photo where before it was renovated, where how they had it set up and what the mirror was next to the dinner table.
Yeah.
And because we would be sitting there doing my studies, and I would just be like studying and be like so
Damn, who is that over there?
She finally just like covered it up or like moved it, and I was like, okay, whatever.
You're like, suddenly I don't want to study anymore.
Right, yeah. No, maybe that's why I hate studying so much. I just need to look at myself while I'm doing it. God, I'm so vain, but that's fine.
Probably better to be vain than to hate yourself, honestly.
Yeah, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I've had my moments, but it's never like it's because I'm about to start my period and I'm like really depressed in like less than 24 hours, and I'm like, wow, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, who the fuck was I talking to? Or whatever, and I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah, that'll happen. I don't think I've ever had that much confidence, but occasionally I'll like take my pain medicine and catch myself in the mirror and be like, damn. Who is
I
that?
literally I got ready a little bit. I was trying to like do something with my hair and like figure it out because I got more layers in it.
It looks great, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Jesus.
I did the heatless curls yesterday, and
Okay.
and then so I like slept in it, and it was like, wavy but like weird, and then I just touched it up a little bit. And I thought it looked really good. Like, it's not too big, too much, and it's not. I think I would like it a little bit more volume, but like there's only really so much I can do about that. So
yeah.
But yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I really like it. So I'm probably gonna try and wear it a little bit more like this, but I try not to spend too much time on my hair also. So
No, it's giving like Ann Wilson in the 80s, which is a big compliment. So, or the 70s more, I would say, I guess. Yeah. Ann Wilson is the lead singer of Heart. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I had an album of hers. I'm not sure. I exactly remember Ann Wilson.
Yeah, it's technically Ann and Nancy. They're sisters. They like front the band. Not to brag, I have seen them twice. So, it was my first concert, like the best first concert ever.
Yeah. This is more like the brushed out hair look, though.
Yeah, I think maybe honestly she might have had that haircut when I saw them in like the 2010s. But because I know she kind of keeps it that way now.
See, these curls, I would love to have this kind of curly hair.
Show me.
Who? What?
Show me your phone. I can see your phone. What? Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like the more like, I don't know, people, I don't know. I love curly hair, but I know like curly hair people are like, what?
It's a lot. It's a lot to take care of, I'm sure.
I just like, I don't know. My Nana had more of a heavy wave. She would always wear curlers in hers, and then my mom got a perm at some point in her life, and I don't know, I really like it.
We'll get a perm.
My hairstylist advised me not to.
She said, "You will look ugly if you get a perm."
She was just like, it's not probably gonna do what you want. And then like I thought about it, and like, you know, I've never like bleached my hair or anything. Like I don't think I
Yeah.
want to do that to it. And also I'm like, how often do you have to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So it is what I just try to keep up with like the heatless curls, and like normally
Yeah.
the day of, that's fine for me to wear it like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to do something with it the day after and following. Anyways, we
Yeah.
have some little topics for this podcast.
It's all about curls.
It's all about curly hair. And how fucking sexy I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that could be we could just devote the whole podcast to that, not just the episode.
I go through, I'm like, look at
Podcast.
all these photos I've taken in the past 24 hours.
In my brief psychosis. In my period psychosis. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, Grant was like, where are you going? Are you trying to like run off or something? And I was like, no, I'm just trying to like kill myself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's like one of my like favorite things like about like women and like femme women is that y'all just be getting gussied up for no reason, and that's awesome. I love makeup and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
love at least makeup. I love just having it on my
yeah.
hair. It's whatever. Um I will say this isn't even like a tight bra. Like I tore the wire out of it. But it's a hook on the back, which I don't
Mhm.
normally wear. I only wear it for like outfits like this and whatnot. It's making my back uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not even tight or has a wire. I think it's just, I don't know. I feel like if I'm dressing up, I feel like my body gets tense and it makes
Mhm.
my back hurt or something.
Okay.
It's weird.
No, I get that. I get
It's
that.
like, and I'm like, why am I so tense? Maybe because I'm like trying to walk a certain, I don't know, like because I'm not in pajamas, like does that make
Yeah.
me walk weird? I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Oh
so
no,
weird.
back in the day, like, cause also with my bras, I had to get the big back bitch bras, you know. So they they have like 14 hooks on the back, so that
Oh
you know
my
you
god.
you don't crumple in on yourself. Um, and so those are very restrictive, and frustrating. I definitely don't miss bras. So my condolences. Are you looking at yourself right now? What are you taking a picture of yourself looking at yourself? Oh my god, it's Inception. It's Inception of your vanity. Holy shit.
I was like, wow, that look really good. Let me take a photo. So
Uh,
bad. I'm shit. I mean, I'd rather like love myself, like we were saying, you
oh,
know?
100%. Yeah, if you're going for the one or the other, that's the one to go for. Um and for everyone listening, she's doing that. My profile picture is a picture of like the lady that made Aqua Tofana that poisoned all those men. and
Yeah.
um and
Like
I'm
I like to,
currently,
you know, trick men with my beauty, you know?
yeah, I just kill them. I just poison them right on out. Yeah.
I like to think they're having a good time at least, and then bam, you don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Um
And that's our murdering styles. Anyway,
yeah. So anyways, we have some topics that we were going to talk about. I didn't share my topic with you.
no, you did not.
Which we don't have to get into because it can be a heavy topic.
Oh
But I
God.
just wanted to brush up on, spoiler alert, we're talking about It Ends With Us, and I watched the movie. I finally watched It Ends With Us,
Okay.
and I don't know if you've
And
heard,
you were like, "That's hot. I want that."
I don't know if you've heard like all the shit that's gone on with it.
Yeah, the guy, some like harassed Blake Lively, right?
Right. So, oh fuck, what's his name? I don't remember his name. Nope, I don't know. But in the movie, his name is Ryle,
Mm-hmm.
and there's Lily, who
Mm-hmm.
is Blake Lively, and so inside of the movie, because I was kind of confused, because people were like, this isn't like a cutesy movie. Like, this is needs a trigger warning. There's domestic violence in it.
Right.
And so I got through more than half of the movie, and I'm like, what are they talking about? I'm like, am I the problem?
Oh no.
Like, what are they talking about? Like, these were accidents. Like, what's happening? Because I was tricked. I got through that, and there were 2 accidents that happened that, again, I was tricked. So the movie made it look like they were genuine accidents. So I was going off of what I had already seen, and I was like, like, these were accidents. Like, what's I'm confused what everyone's upset about. And that's where I was like, am I the problem? Like, what's going on? But then um something happens, like the third thing happens where he's pretty upset, and he's not really trying to hide it at this point because the other 2 were accidents, you know?
Right. Oops. Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you what they were?
Yeah, go for it.
So the first one, they were in the kitchen, and they were having a good time. Like, everything was fine. He burned his food. He went to go get it, and she was like, "Oh, here, don't grab it with your hands. Like, here, get this." And she was just trying to like help him, but there was a lot going on. And he goes to grab it, and he burns his hand, and he pops back like this. He like reacts, but in the while he's reacting to him burning his hand, he accidentally hits her face.
Right.
So, complete accident.
Mm-hmm.
So later, another thing happens. He sees something. He's upset. She's going after him, being like, "Hey, it's nothing. It's really nothing. I'm sorry. Like, I just, whatever." She follows him to the stairs, to the staircase. She gets in front of him as the stairs are going down, and she falls. She missteps. She falls down. She falls down the stairs.
I was
So
literally jokingly say, "Oops, I accidentally pushed you down the stairs."
yeah,
What
so
happened? Okay.
he's a neurologist, so she wakes up in their bed, and he's like cleaning up her head because she hit her head.
Oh fuck.
And he was like, "I tried to catch you, like, I'm so sorry, like, whatever." And so the third thing, and this is where he was not trying to let it be a secret,
Yeah, like an oopsie.
an oopsie. He got upset. He was like, "I haven't shown you how much I loved you." And in the process of that, what was insinuated of he was going to rape her.
Oh my god.
And so she's like, "Please, obviously I wouldn't watch it if I were you."
Yeah.
She's like, "Get off of me." And she has this tattoo on her like collarbone, which was a meaning from a past, like her first lover, and that she like met, and this is why he's so upset. And so he finds out what that tattoo means. Because she's been in contact with him, not really her own fault, but it makes him upset. He goes in while he's on top of her, bites around that tattoo, and she's able to like kick him off and run out. And so she gets in the car, and then she's playing back all of the oopsies,
Right.
and then realizing like, oh, these weren't oopsies. So the first time he did hit her on purpose because he did burn his hand, but he goes back and was like telling her to like stop because she was like, I guess, overreacting to him. And so he hit her, made it a complete like scenario of it being an accident. The second time was she did step in front of him. She could have easily lost her balance and fallen down the stairs. But he did push her. She got in front of him, he pushed her. And again, she realized it wasn't an oopsie, and then this third time she was like, "Okay, that definitely isn't something that my brain can be like, it was just an oopsie."
Yeah, that's not.
And so she goes to the hospital to get it checked out because he broke skin with his teeth.
Ouch.
And she gets that checked out, and in that moment she finds out she's pregnant.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Get an
So
abortion.
she goes to tell his sister everything, and she's like, as his sister, I'm hoping you can find it in your heart to forgive him, but as your best friend, if you ever talk to him again, I won't, or if you get back with him, I won't talk to you.
Shit.
Yeah, so
A girl's girl.
right. She was like, so the book or the movie is called It Ends With Us. So the whole premise of that is like she's in an abusive relationship because her mom was also in an abusive relationship. Her dad died, but all she grew up with was her dad hitting her mom, and he was a very like loved and respected man in the community because nobody knew.
Aren't they always?
And right. And so she gives birth. He's at the hospital, and she's like, you can tell like she loves him. You know, she does love him, but she's like, I'm not staying in this. And so in the hospital, she's like, we need a divorce. And he was like, no. And she was like, what would you say to your daughter if she came to you? And she was like, hey, the man I loved slapped me across the face, but it was an accident. Hey, the man I loved pushed me down the stairs, but it was an accident. You know, what would you tell her? And he was like, I would tell her to leave it and go back. And she was like, we need to do this for her, not for us. And or, you know, put her first and not see it. So the whole premise of it is like it ends with this of breaking the cycle of abuse and like staying in it.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know, there was like a lot of backlash with the movie. I guess there could have been a trigger warning, but I personally did like the movie. So I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people had a lot of like issue with it, but I was like, I liked it. I thought it was really good. And so, but I did have to kind of get over the little thing I knew in the back of my head of like Lively and the guy actually having some beef in real life and all the shit going on behind that. I had to like, it was hard to get into the movie the first like 20 minutes. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I don't know. I liked the movie. I just thought like it's how people, it puts in a perspective of how people who are in those situations don't even realize themselves that their brain will easily trick them into being like, this was an accident. This didn't actually happen. Especially if you're used to that kind of abuse.
100%.
And so how easily we can fall back into old patterns. And yeah, I don't know. I thought I just put a good spotlight on that and try to put it in the view of like the abused of people being like, well, why don't you just leave him? And it kind of putting a light on that of like, it's not that easy. And in this case, in this scenario, it was easy for her because she had her own business. She had money to fall back on. It's not like she was relying on him and stuff. Obviously, she like loved him so much, but she was like, I'm not going to do this to myself I'm not going to become my mother of being someone who's been abused and staying in the relationship and then doing that to our child. So I thought it put a good spotlight on that. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think like the non-trigger warning, that's like a whole like discussion in and of itself of like, you know, like whether we should have trigger warnings or not. But I think honestly, I haven't seen it. I've just heard reviews, and then now like hearing your review, I know people were kind of upset that it was more marketed as like a rom-com or like a romance movie or whatever, but I in a little bit of a way kind of like that they did that, because then you're going in with the idea that like it could happen in any type of relationship, like showing the happier parts and previews and like whatever kind of like sets you up for having to completely like question yourself like you did. Like in the first few minutes you were like, oh no, like this is an accident, like whatever, it's fine. And then, you know, halfway through you're like, oh shit, okay, so actually this can happen really quickly and really under the radar, and it can look super happy from the outside and everything. So I mean, you know, I think why not. Also, I think the the weird like press shit that they did kind of overshadowed the movie. I don't really even remember why people were upset with Blake Lively when she was doing like press rounds or something.
For the movie.
For the movie, yeah, for the movie
It's
specifically.
because she made it as a romantic movie. She was like, grab your girls, grab your floral dresses, come to the movie theater.
Not your floral dresses.
But you have to also think, which someone pointed out, is that those probably also weren't her words. Like when you go into an interview, there you have your managers and whatnot, they're like, talk about this, let's not make it
Yeah.
all sad and sappy. Let's talk about like how it's romantic and sexy and do that.
Yeah.
So they had Blake Lively talking about how it was romantic and sexy.
Yeah.
And
I
because
thought she was being satirical.
well, Justin Baldoni, that's the guy's name. He was talking about the domestic violence part of it. He was the one speaking up about it. So which is just interesting to me.
Yeah, wait, who assaulted her on set?
Justin Baldoni.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to be fucking super into the press shit anyway.
And
I would be
that's
like,
my
"Get me
point.
the
Yeah,
fuck
that was
over
my
this
point
shit."
exactly. The first time this shit came out and they were like upset with Blake, and then like just even the tiniest bit of like hearing something weird about Justin Baldoni happening, I was like, it's not her responsibility. Like she's the character in the movie. It's not her responsibility to come and tell us about XYZ. Like she's the character. She's not a therapist. Like don't go tell her your
Yeah,
problems. She's just representing somebody in a movie. She is a fake character
yeah,
who's been through this, and that's it. So I don't know. I was never upset with like about it. So
yeah. And I had no idea what was going on, so
yeah.
I was like, whatever. But that's crazy. Literally, how men can uh be so removed from the parts that they play in society to be out advocating for a movie that's like trying to help bring awareness to domestic violence while you're literally sexually harassing your co-star on set. That's crazy.
And not just that, but like trying to quote take her down before she could take him down.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there
Oh,
was a lot more into it of apparently Blake was trying to keep it, you know, within the cast and not like come out with anything, because she did have a meeting with him and his team about things that would be appropriate and not appropriate, and like, hey, like let's not talk about this. I don't want to hear about XYZ. But
yeah.
then it just seemed to have gotten worse. And then
Oof.
that's where the problems were, and that's where she was like, and that's where she unfollowed him on social media. So did Colleen Hoover,
Mm.
and so did a
Wow.
lot of the women on set. So I'm just like, so what does that mean? Like, is he in the
Yeah.
wrong, or they just a ride or die for Blake? But I would assume it's because they saw some shit and they didn't like it. That's
Yeah,
what
when
I would.
girls and gays unfollow, it's usually you did something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, he just got these attorney or something who also helped Johnny Depp.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And they like released text messages being like, we can bury her like we buried this person, this person. So anyways, so yeah. Despite
Yeah.
all the bullshit going on behind the scenes, I enjoyed the movie.
Nice.
Um and I did start the book. I was trying to finish the book before I watched the movie, but I was like, okay, I can't wait anymore. And so now I'm wanting to finish the book because I'm interested on how they did some of the things in there time wise. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's my little take on it.
Interesting. Well, yeah. I love that for you. Yeah, I know Colleen Hoover's kind of been like accused of like maybe over romanticizing a lot of like abusive stuff, but it's also just kind of the fact of that's how a lot of women and anyone like make sense staying in that relationship. You know what I mean? Like, they over romanticize it themselves. So if she's writing a book from a perspective of someone who's in that relationship, that would make sense to do that. It's not like she's out there being like, hey, this is hot.
Yeah,
She's
and then
just
like
like,
getting out of it too.
right, yeah. And so, I mean, that's people accuse like Lana Del Rey of writing music that really kind of like glorifies and romanticizes abusive relationships. And her response to that has always been like, yeah, but that's how I was feeling in these relationships. Like, I'm not condoning anyone being in them. It's just that's what it felt like to be in it. And I'm like, yeah, fucking write your shit. You're not anybody's, role model. You're just somebody
Mm-hmm.
making art,
Mm-hmm.
and writing. Like, you don't, if that's another thing too. That was actually a question that I got on when I took the writing part of the ACT was like, my essay question was, do you think musicians and celebrities are responsible for the repercussions that their art might like reap out in the world? And I was like, no. No, unless you're like intentionally calling for something to happen, you
Right.
know? Like, unless you're inciting violence or using hate speech or something like that, like, people are going to be dumb and do dumb shit, but like, it's not your responsibility to be, unless you're being insanely irresponsible. Like, if you're just making art, you're making art, man. Like,
Right.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Glad we agree on that. The podcast just devolves into us in an argument.
So you had a topic you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, well, just like I know we were kind of thinking about getting back into the swing of more like evangelical topics coming up. So
Shit, you're coming on Thursday, aren't you?
yeah,
Continue.
what have you done?
Continue talking.
Okay. Anyway, so I literally was kind of blanking, and so I just Googled like evangelical, like evangelical, like talking points or topics or something, and I chose one of the ones that jumped out to me, which was reflecting on the challenges of navigating relationships with family and friends who remain evangelical, which I don't know. So I thought that would be a cool little topic to discuss.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Well, first I want to know what's happened with the Thursday situation.
I had plans to wait, when are you coming? Because when are you coming and when are you leaving?
I mean, I was gonna try to come early because we wanted to record a couple and then like go to lunch or something, right? And go to the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much time would we need for that? What time would you want me there?
Let me just get back to you on it.
Okay. How dare
I
you?
I was gonna go out with somebody that night and
Wow. Wow.
but it was like that evening, so I wasn't sure how long you were staying.
Wow. So see, you guys, listen, this bitch was complaining to me the other day that Thursday was too long to wait and that I needed to come sooner. And now that I'm coming, she's like, actually, I have other plans. I have other plans, and I'm over here. Okay. The face that she's making.
Normally you try to leave before it's like too late.
That's just because I didn't have car insurance or valid
Oh,
tax.
okay.
Yeah, you're like, so actually, I still want you out of my house for
I,
sunrise.
I'm just gonna message this person and see if like later is okay with them, and then we should
Mm-hmm.
have a good chunk of the day together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, that's fine. I'll split my time. That's fine. I see you once a month, maybe. That's fine. That's okay. We got the 10-minute warning, but
Okay. So anyways, uh, you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
you can go first.
Okay. Can you say your question again?
Reflecting on the challenge of navigating relationships with family and friends who remain evangelical.
So I was trying to think about who in my life was still of the Christian faith. And friend wise, I could only think of one person. Other than that, I don't have other friends that are like hard, like in the faith. However, I will say this is going to be a hot take and probably upset some people, but for me, if you are claiming to be Christian, I do not take you serious if you're not going to church at least once a week, actively reading and studying the Bible, and also you're not, like, your persona is not presenting Christ-like. I do not take a person serious of them saying, "Oh, I'm a Christian." I'm just like, "But are you really?"
Yeah.
So I know that's gonna ruffle some feathers, but
that's the Easter Sunday Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I just no hate to we've been friends since
obviously love
garden or something. And I know she goes to church or I think she goes to church every Sunday.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. And then but I'm just like, are you actively reading the Bible? Like, I don't know. It's just confusing. It's like I feel like for her it's definitely just like a blind follow.
My question is, does she make it on time?
That's a good question.
Is that the one place
I should ask her, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to me. And then as far as family goes, like, again, what I said applies of how I take you serious or not. The only person that I'm like, I guess, like, a real relationship of like I'm seeing this person often and that they're actively in my life is my mom.
Right.
And we both know she's a very kind and loving person.
Oh yeah.
So even with like the topics that we've talked about of like, oh, what if I did this or what if I did that? She'd be like, I love you. I just don't tell me about it. And there's other things where I'm like, oh, you think I'm gonna go to hell? And she's like, no, I don't think you're gonna go to hell. I don't know. It's just like she doesn't have to know everything.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't want to know everything. And so that's just kind of where it is between us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think that he still thinks you're slightly Christian? Like, do you think she thinks that you're saved still technically?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't actually like came out to her and told her anything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've made comments about some stuff, like little comments here and there, but I don't know. I don't think she knows, or if like maybe she's in the denial or something.
You're like, oh yeah, I've made just little comments, like my eyes have rolled back into my head. I've prayed to Satan in Latin.
I start
just
hissing when she mentions God.
just little things, like, that's interesting. I mean, I guess it would be easier to navigate if you guys are both just kind of like avoiding the topic altogether. Like, you're not in her face being like, by the way, I'm not a Christian. By the way, Jesus is not in my heart. So I'm sure that's easier to just be chill with.
Yeah. And it, but like same thing with like my relationship, like, or relationships, like it's none of her business.
Right.
All she needs to care is that I'm a kind, loving person and I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not going down the wrong path. I'm doing good,
Yeah.
And I'm as kind as I can be. So
those are her two things. You need to be kind, you need to be off drugs. And
yeah,
that's
exactly. And I'm there. I'm doing it.
That's funny. Yeah, for sure. I think, is it my turn?
Yeah, we have 2 minutes. So do you want to like hop back on?
Yeah, probably hop back on, unless you're like, no, you only get 2 minutes.
You get 2.5 minutes and go.
I'm like,
no, we'll just have to get off and I'll have to like let it load, which shouldn't take long, and then we can hop back on.
Okay, I can think real hard about my answer and then still give a bad one.
You could also write it down.
I literally flipped paper over just as you were saying that to write it down.
Okay. I'll let you know when it's done loading.
Okay, yeah. My answer would be number one, I avoid it with family. Pretty much we just don't talk about it. I don't talk about going to church because I don't go to church anymore, and then
But
just
you're
look
not
at
around
me.
them a lot.
No, I mean, I would say I'm around them a whole lot more than I used to be.
Right.
Because up until I would say a couple years ago, I wouldn't see my cousins for 2 or 3 years at a time, probably. And now I see them, you know, like around once a month, once every other month. But and also I think it's pretty just easy to look at me and be like, that bitch probably isn't in church. They probably are not receiving the Spirit weekly. Which is funny because my cousin Brian literally preaches sometimes when the preacher is unavailable, and I'm like, are you sure that he should be doing that? I don't think so. I could say more on that, but I shan't. Not online. With my friends, that's a whole other story. I think it depends on which friends I'm talking about, because I mean, obviously you and I are on the same page, and like most of the other people that I well, you're like, I'm your only friend, who else are you talking about?
Well, the other friend you had that was like around, you broke it off with them.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say that was probably the last super close, like, as okay, my son's trying to take my notes. Please get off the table, thank you so much. That was probably the last, like, we were actually in contact, like, as much as possible, friend that I just had enough of. It wasn't even her Christianity as much as it was her politics, which of course were informed by her Christianity, obviously. Which is crazy to me, because anyone who claims to be a Christian and votes for Donald Trump, I'm like, you're a joke to me. But
Well, I don't agree.
what do you mean?
I think they go hand in hand.
Well, but he acts like nothing like I mean, it's the double standard of, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm also like, if you're preaching, piety, and like that sex outside of marriage is wrong, which 90% of the Christians that I know that voted for Donald Trump believe that, I'm like, okay, well, he's like the biggest whore on the planet. So I think you're a joke. You know what I mean? Like I think if you think that, ow, what is wrong with you? What, you're having a tantrum right now. Jesus Christ, he just came up and bit me for no reason.
Like, you talked enough.
Yeah, he's like, shut the fuck up. He does definitely get like sound aggression, or like noise aggression rather. If I sing, he comes and bites me on the shin. I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. But anyway, other than that, yes, I have cut one friend out. So that's not a problem anymore. I did find myself, which I didn't tell you about, in a funny situation. Gosh, I guess it was like a couple months ago, I would say. Where,
and you didn't tell me?
No, I forgot to tell you about it. I'm so sorry. We've both been committing sins against one another tonight.
All right, lay it on me.
So one of the people that I dog sit for that was over the other day, she had come by to, I think, maybe grab something. I don't know what it was, but it was a couple months ago. Aren't you proud of me for not saying the other day when it was a couple months ago? I feel like you should be proud that I didn't say it was the other day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I was like, wait, but she was over the other day, but I get it. I get it now. Okay, yeah.
So she came over, and Lori and I, my mom and I, are under the carport, we're talking, and she starts to tell us about how, like, one of her cousins or maybe her aunts or something got saved at the family reunion. She was like, she felt the spirit, and I think she got saved. I think she gave herself over to Jesus. And I don't know what happened to Lori and I, but we just kind of looked at each other, and I think we silently decided to fake it, to still to just pretend. And I went, oh my God, how amazing. And Lori was like, that is so good to hear. That is good. And I was like, he works in mysterious ways at the family reunion. And I was just literally saying just like Christian buzzwords that were coming to my brain. I was just like, she's gonna be a new person. Like, she's it's like amazing. She's like
At
reborn
that
in the
point, just start
spirit.
talking in tongues.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, just start shaking on the ground, and there's like, I'm also being saved again. Wow. um, and like, she was so happy about it, and so it was really weird to realize that we're on such different wavelengths for her to be like, oh, that's a good thing, and like she believes that is real, and that happens. And Lori and I were just looking at each other like, oh shit, like, yeah, so you guys are in a little bit of a psychosis. I'm not saying every single Christian is, but maybe I am.
I will. Y'all are all fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I am. And it's like, it's sad because it's just like that's how you've grown up and everything. But I don't know why we pretended to be happy about the revival at the family reunion, but I think it was like just not worth the conversation, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and she was saying something that she was like really happy about, and so what am I going to do? Try to deprogram her in the carport? No.
Well, see, if I was in that situation, I don't think I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. But I feel like I would give it away that I would like, ew.
Yeah, I mean, I went a little bit overboard. I think, like, if you were there, you would have known that I was being
I would have
facetious.
been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I said hallelujah like 3 times. So, like, you would have been laughing. Like, you
I
would
would
have
have been like,
known.
what's going on?
You're like, so we got to get in the car and take you to the insane asylum. You've broken. Uh,
I smack you. I'm
um,
like, snap out of it.
yeah, I rebuke this. I rebuke Christianity. It was weird. It was weird. I didn't know what to say. And I was just like, hallelujah. Won't he do it? But I think my brain just kind of fell back into like, you know how to do this. You know how to pretend that you're on board with this. So that's what happened there. And so we just kind of like, they know that we're not going to church because we all used to go to the same church. And I think maybe they've started going back. I don't know. Which is interesting because as far as I knew, they kind of weren't vibing with it, but I guess they are now. I don't know. But otherwise, I kind of have like two other relationships to navigate, I guess. One is with my like good friend Kathy, who is Methodist, I think. And she's super chill. We don't really get into like her beliefs or whatever, but I don't have any problem speaking my mind over there. And it's funny when we hang out, usually her boyfriend's there, who is best friends with the uh like ex priest of the church that I like attended from birth until like 5 at the Episcopalian church. Um which is funny, Father Chuck. Um and so and I believe he stayed Episcopalian when everyone else changed to Anglican because they didn't like gays. So from that church. So we love Father Chuck. Good for him. But so yeah, it's really weird they're like in their 70s, and we just drink wine, and I ignore her when she talks about her trips to Israel, and I'm just like, yeah, that's great, that's super good. And then I'll be like, pal, and she'll be like, anyway, I think it's time to go. But other than that, we agree politically on a lot of stuff, and she's actually told me that I have been a person that has like taught her a lot, and that I've kind of like opened her eyes to like the LGBTQ community. Not that she was ever hateful before, but she just like didn't know, which is really cool. So I don't really have to tiptoe around anything with that. I'll just be like, she'll ask me random shit. She'll be like, will you read my tarot? And I'm like, fuck yeah, absolutely I will. Yeah. And so they're cool. The other one that's crept up recently, and I have to be extraordinarily cryptic about it, is like this family that I grew up with, and maybe having like a brief relationship with them again. My mom and I were talking about it, and looking back, they were honestly like the last people at church to, after we left, because of all the gay hatred, to kind of like reach out. Like, we had Christmas at their house like for like 2 years. They invited us to Christmas, and it was nice. And they're like the only people that reach out to us, from our church that we attended for like 15 years. That's always weird, because I just have to pretty much avoid everything Christian wise, and then I once again pretend that I'm kind of still on board, and that it's just the gay stuff that's different. I think I pretend to be like a progressive Christian if anything comes up, and obviously that's disingenuous, but I don't feel like getting into a conversation is gonna change them, you know.
Yeah, do you think it could also be just a way of keeping you safe too?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because I don't want to end up in a conversation where we're trying to save me. I don't want to end up once again at the local Italian restaurant, about to go to gay camp. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. And I don't think that they would do that, but it could 100% devolve into like a conversation about like, well, you need to come to church, and I know what church they go to, and I'm not interested in going to that church. I will say the preacher of that church's mom did try to fuck me once after a funeral, so we could talk about that, but that's
The
neither
name
here
of
nor
the podcast.
there. I was terrified, girl. I was terrified for my life. I was
The
just trying.
preacher's mom tried to fuck me after a funeral. Really got her
And
going, I guess.
I don't know. She hadn't seen me in a long time. This was like, I don't know, like 5 years ago, and she like, at first she was like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Yep, that's me." And she goes, "Oh, you have grown up." And I was like, "Oh yeah, yep, I sure have." And then she was like clearly talking to like her friends, about, already drunk, I'm pretty sure, but talking to her little friends or whatever. And she called me over there, and she slipped her fingers into my belt loops, like, of my jeans, and like in the parish hall, and like pulled me over to her, and like slipped her like two fingers like in the top of my jeans, just like stood there talking to me. Yeah,
Oh,
and I was like,
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah, actually,
I'll have
literally
to cut
said,
that out.
you will. Yeah, I was surprised you said that. But yeah, it was really weird, and she was like, "We're gonna go out to get drinks later. I would love to get to know you as an adult." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And my mother was also in attendance. And so I looked over at her, and she was like, "Come here." And so I come over there, and she was like, you'll have to cut this out. Is hitting on you right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, 100%
Full
she
name
is."
drop, keeping it in.
Keeping it in.
Tag her on Facebook.
Is she hitting on you right now? And I was like, she did, I think, was like freshly divorced. And so I think she was just raring to go. But I was like, yeah, honestly, I think she's kind of like fondling me a little bit in front of these people, in front of this woman whose husband has just died. But so that's the church that they go to now, is her son's church. So hopefully he hasn't taken after his mother. Anyway, that's a fun little story. The Christian women, some of them are suppressed, and it's okay. But not at funerals, probably. But not at funerals. Catered by KFC, by the way.
Well, that's a perfect excuse for them too, though, of being like, I was just so sad, and
oh, for sure, yeah. She's like, I didn't know what I was doing.
I wasn't thinking straight. I was just so sad.
Just suddenly my hands were in your pants because I was so sad. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she grabbed my ass too, and I was like, okay, all right, now, like, we have to cut this out.
I'm really being right now.
Yeah, literally. I was like, okay, all right. And literally people were seeing it. People were seeing the whole thing, and it was like a joke. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of funny. But also a little bit not, because I haven't like invited this attention at all.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And I will say, have a crush on her when I was a child, because obviously older woman. And so I'm like, of course. So that, I think that also was, I was like, is this a dream or a nightmare right now? I can't tell. Like, I don't even know what's happening. But I wonder if she remembers that. And I wonder what would have happened if I had gone out with him that night.
For a drink and for her to get to know you as an adult.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened?
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's crazy. Yeah. Not the only woman from that church that has hit on me after or mid-divorce. I'm like, I don't know what happens to the Christian women mid-divorce that they're like, lesbianism? Maybe?
Maybe. Also, I mean, probably because maybe also they don't think it counts.
Yeah, and I think it's safer as well, because I think there's a little bit more of an expectation of like, if you flirt with a guy, he's gonna immediately expect something. You know, whereas I'm just gonna be like, what was that? And then probably ignore it. But yeah, so I don't know, we went super far off track with that, but a fun evangelical story that I forgot about. So
hey, are those your people, or do you have more?
I think those were all my people. Yeah.
I want to go off of what you said earlier about kind of like playing it safe for you, of like,
yeah,
you know, playing into it. I was out the other night and I had an encounter with this man who was from Nepal. And we were talking. I was like, oh, like, are you here for school and stuff? And he was. And I asked him, I was like, oh, are you like religious? Are you Christian? Because you have a cross around your neck. Like, are you a Christian? And he was like, oh no, I'm, because I came over here, my faith isn't Christianity, but I'm in the South. So I've had encounters of racism and whatnot. So to protect myself, I wear a cross around my neck to help people feel more comfortable around me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure, because people, no offense, from the South are stupid and immediately think in a bigoted way that they look at that person and are like, you're a Muslim and you're gonna blow shit up.
100%. Yeah.
And which is crazy. That's sad, honestly.
It is really. I was like, oh my god,
that's horrible. That's so sad.
But he loves America.
Yeah, hey.
He really does. He loves it here. So I was like, okay. Which I guess, like, into our conversation, I kind of realized like we are ahead in society, but I'm also like, I don't know. There was a lot in that conversation that was very interesting, but
yeah. Well, we're slipping backwards. Like, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was trying to like understand from his point of view of being like, but Trump.
Yeah. And I think also, America has done an extremely good job of propagandizing and projecting this sort of strength and like American dream that doesn't really exist anymore, if it ever did. And so, I think him having to wear that is a really good example of that, of being
Right.
like our country was supposed to be founded on like freedom of religion and all that shit, and it's like, oh, actually freedom of just one religion.
Mm-hmm.
You really get to the nitty-gritty of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't fault especially like people who've immigrated for thinking that this is a great country, because that's what we project. I
Yeah.
thought we were like the best country in the whole fucking world
Right.
until a
Yeah.
few years ago, because that's what we're taught since we grow up. It's like everybody wants to be here, it's the best place, we're the freest, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I can definitely see on his side of it, because he came here because he came on a scholarship, or like
Yeah.
however that works, international scholarships and stuff. And so that's how it worked out for him. And I just based off of what he was telling me about how his culture is and where he lived, they live on a man, what did he call it? A tier system. So it's like
Yeah,
four tiers. And so
it's
like
the caste system, are you talking about?
cat yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um where it's like, I think it was like 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 being
Right.
like you're the richest of them,
Mm-hmm.
and 4 being like the poorest. And if you let's say if you marry okay, let's see. 1, he was in 1, and let's say he were to marry a 3, then they would have been a 2.
Yeah. Oh, was
So
he a one?
he's a 1.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, right.
Oh, lucky.
So yeah, so that was a very interesting conversation. And yeah, it just I thought that was incredibly sad though that he said that. I was like, I'm so sorry you've had experiences to make you feel like you have to do that. That really
Yeah,
sucks.
that's horrible.
Um and I feel like where we live, well, I guess like in this immediate town surrounding area, it's not terrible.
Hmm.
But other parts of Mississippi, I'm sure are pretty bad.
Yeah, and I mean, you could just happen to run into that one person, that's
Yeah,
gonna fuck your day up for no reason.
right. Yeah.
Uh, that's weird. I had a friend, we'll call we'll say he was a friend, that I met in when I lived in Oxford, and he was from, fuck, where was he from? And this isn't, I don't even know if I've told you about this person. Um, I can't fucking remember where he was from, but
Is he no longer alive?
um, yeah, I think he is dead. Yeah, yeah. Why?
I'm trying to think of all the people you've told me about.
Anyway, he was from like some war-torn country, in the Middle East, or maybe in like the Balkans or something. Um, and he fucking loved it here, and I like couldn't understand. I was like, "Are you sure?" Donald Trump has just been elected. It was 2016. I was like, "Are you positive?" And he was like, "Yeah, like I think it's." He was like, "It's so cool that you just get to like express yourself here," and I was like, "Okay, all right, like okay." And I'm pretty sure he was getting into like Christianity, even though he wasn't um like raised. Can you hear that noise right now, son? Please. Paul has started going up and banging on the side of the washing machine for no reason. It's like terrifying in the middle of the night. But
Oh my God.
but yeah, I don't know. I think also he might have just wanted to hook up, um but he was really nice. He is dead, rip. Um but that's that's interesting that we've both met immigrants in that town that have both been kind of like, we're just gonna pretend to be
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, that's super sad because That's literally the whole pretense of our country was freedom of religion. Not for the Native Americans, of course.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I think it's hard to navigate. I think it would be harder if I was still in contact with a lot of people that I used to go to church with, but as it goes, you often lose kind of that whole group of people when you leave the church.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I at this point, another hot take. I don't, you know how like other people will be like, I respect you having your faith in your religion as long as you're not trying to control me.
Yeah.
I don't respect it.
Oh, me either.
I don't respect it at all. I especially any faith that is trying to control somebody else for your gain. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And in this case it is predominantly women in the Christian faith, and depending on who you're talking to, it could be a person of color.
Yeah.
And both, like women, person of color. And so yeah, no, I think fuck your religion, and we don't need it. And I feel sorry for the women, specifically women who are a part of that and have to live with that and are brainwashed.
Right.
So
no, I completely agree, and I think I've been now that I'm further left, if I thought I could go further left politically, I think in the liberal sphere that's very much not a thing that you say. Like the centrist Democrat, like Joe Biden's never going to come out and be like, actually, I don't think Islam is good for women, because it's very much like we have to respect it like it's a religion, and I'm like, fuck off. What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. To know it's not just about Christianity; it's about any religion trying to control somebody else for their gain.
Like you said, 99% of the time it's women. And so legitimately, if your religion, which the three main Judaic religions that are organized are predominantly for either the acquisition of land or money and or the control of women. And so I'm like, you cannot tell me that this is very hot take. You can't tell me that Judaism, Islam, and Christianity aren't rooted in that and still exercise all that power today. I think that's all it's for. I'm so sorry. It's for making money. It's for getting land. It's for controlling women's bodies. And I don't respect it. And it's bullshit.
Amen.
And you can't, I don't think you can be a feminist. Ooh, very hardcore take. I don't think that you can be an intersectional feminist and stand up for organized religion, because you can't.
Preach.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Oh, wow. This has been all over the place, but I think it's been good.
I think it's been good. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. It was really good and informative, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think we got into a really good pace and discussion, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Informative in a way where we did no research before.
Yeah, we were just spouting shit. But hey, that just goes to show we're like super smart. Like, whoa.
Well, I debated on doing, because I was trying to be like, who do I know who's Christian that I'm so associated with? So I did have to kind of like prep, but that took like no time.
Right.
And then for the movie I watched, It Ends With Us, I was like, well, we've both been in situations of like abuse, whether it's been mental or physical, and we've both been able to navigate that, and we both understand how easy it is to fall into something and then and how hard it can be to pull yourself out. And so yeah, I don't know, it just came naturally, I guess.
Yeah, like our experiences kind of carried us.
Yeah, 100%. And then my fuck the religion is starting to come more naturally now. Um,
Yeah.
I want to get to the point where I just say some outlandish shit where they'll cut like how your experience of them like being like, oh, someone got baptized, and I'm just like, ew. Oh God, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have a number to a good therapist if you need it. Yeah, like pass it
Like,
along.
oh, you had someone join the cult. Good for you.
Do you need a deprogrammer or?
I'm just like, here's my podcast.
Yeah, I can drive the getaway car if they need to escape.
Yeah, I really want to get to that point where it's just unfiltered in my head. And I pretty much do with my facial expressions. Like that's just always been a thing of me not really being able to control
1,000,000,000%. Yeah.
that. And so I'm just like, mm, and so I try not to verbally say much because like really how much do I want to get into it? But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my goal this year is to be more unhinged on some shit. Just to if they feel comfortable, I want them to realize how crazy they sound.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we've normalized this for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for it to be like, hey, no, actually, this is crazy. You
Yeah.
are falling for some crazy bullshit that is
Yeah.
controlling you in so many ways, even if you are a man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
anyways,
it's keeping men in these rigid gender roles that don't allow them to express themselves in true forms at all unless it's toxically masculine, you know?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah, and even like the littlest things, like someone who was over the other day who is still Christian said something about made some comment about fucking wearing women's jeans, and she like made a face and she was like he wears women's jeans. And I was like, okay.
What were you wearing?
Yeah. What was I
Your
wearing?
gear?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, look at me, ma'am.
Yeah, you're just like, what? What's wrong with what I'm wearing right now? Go ahead
Yeah,
and tell me.
I'm like, I look like literally my recent outfits that I've been putting together. It's my Patagonia hat. It's cold outside, so I got a jacket on. It's like green, and I'm wearing like a white button up and like a brown like trouser and my hiking boots. And so I 1,000% feel like either a park ranger or like an off-duty like sheriff that's been woken up in the middle of the night, and I put like half my uniform on. And I came up to Lori, just went into a character, no warning, and I came up to her and I was like, we're gonna find your boy, we're gonna find him, we are. And then because I'm insane, I turned and I was like, we're not gonna find him. He went missing right off the interstate. He's in Toledo, probably at the glory holes at the truck stop. Okay, but we're gonna find your boy.
I love that you get into these characters and you always share with me you get into these characters, but you don't ever do them around me. And so I'm a little jealous.
I'm so sorry. I can try to start. I think I get nervous.
Well, imagine you like do it and I'm like,
Ew.
what the fuck has happened? I'm like, are you okay?
I just start crying. You're like, that's the weirdest thing you've ever done. Don't do that again. I'm like, oh, okay.
um,
Fine.
but okay, we have 3 minutes, less than
Okay.
3 minutes. So we'll wrap it up here. You're coming on Thursday and we're gonna have an in-person podcast.
Yeah.
And
And we'll have a guest.
oh, your mother.
Yes.
Yes. So we will have a guest. Yes, I'm excited for that. I want some of her juiciest stories. And
Same.
so tell her to write them down.
Hell
But
yeah.
blow me out of the water where I'm just like, okay. And then soon, hopefully, let's see, we're about in the middle of the month. Hopefully in February sometime we will have another special guest on that I'm really excited about. Who is an ex-pastor, now atheist. So I'm not gonna give anything away of who it is or anything because I'm saying that because he has a lot of following on TikTok.
Right, yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Me too.
And where we'll go with that, just because I really have been wanting to talk to. at least a pastor, but I'm like, I don't feel like debating. So ex-pastor, now atheist is perfect. So
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so
Exciting.
we will wrap it up there, and thank y'all so much for listening, and catch us on the next one.
Yeah, we love you. Bye.
Love you, whore.
I love you, bitch.
Bye.